this season, Bottas is proving them true. He has driven a magnificent race, has controlled it, and has done wonderfully well, barring anything major. And I'm touching my desk right now to pray that the commentator's curse hasn't struck. Valtteri Bottas should be coming home to win again, and he does, and it's Bottas again who is a winner in France. Le Magnifique.
So you're telling me that the power upgrade that Honda gave us has put too much torque through the gearbox and it has broken it, basically? Brilliant. Okay, right. Well, change it up. We'll just have to think of a strategy for starting at the back of the grid. Excellent.
Round 8 of the Formula 1 World Championship takes us to Spielberg here in Austria for the Grand Prix. Spielberg may be the name of the town, but we could have Oscar-worthy drama this afternoon as we are reaching the halfway point of the World Championship, and the Austrian Grand Prix looks set to be a showdown among the top contenders. And perhaps the most driver likely to show is that of the Red Bull of Max Verstappen. He's won here for the past 2 years. Does he allow himself to be the favourite after his home Grand Prix win in Zandvoort? Well, Austria is pretty much a home Grand Prix for Max Verstappen. What a wonderful support he does get here. Valtteri Bottas is the only one-time winner of the Austrian Grand Prix. Every other driver has won at least 2 times, with the great Alain Prost and Joe Siffert the only drivers to win 3 times. But it is Valtteri Bottas that leads the championship ahead of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. And Lewis Hamilton has said, by his own standards, he is having an absolutely dreadful season thus far. Just 1 win, but at the moment has been well short of the pace. So here is how the drivers line up for the Austrian Grand Prix this afternoon. And it's Bottas who has pipped Hamilton into pole by 1/100th of a second. Charles Leclerc is 3rd and Max Verstappen is in 4th. Vettel gets 5th, and well done Carlos Sainz. He's got 6th, and Lando Norris follows him in 8th. Kimi Raikkonen gets up to 9th in the Alfa Romeo, a great job for him. Sergio Perez in the Racing Point is at 14th. Romain Grosjean brilliantly gets 17th ahead of Mick Schumacher. George Russell is 19th and Kevin Magnussen is 20th. Nicholas Latifi is 21st and Hector Gonzalez is last. We'll be right back after this break.
That is it. Bristol goes to the 4th round for the first time since 2017.
No, he hasn't! No, he hasn't! Bournemouth are in the FA Cup 4th round! And Vidra's forward! And Vidra now! Vidra! He's settled it! He's settled it! And has made Chelsea pay! It's a chance for Sheffield Wednesday to take the lead! It's Aubameyang! And Aubameyang has equalised! Mason Greenwood! It's the box! Here's Lucas Moura! Oh, they've done it! Lucas Moura with the last kick of the game!
If things can stay as they are, they might get better. They have got better. Raheem Sterling's made it 4. So we are waiting for the Austrian Grand Prix to go. Bottas is on your right, Hamilton is on your left. 5 lights. Go, 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 go. It looks to be a fantastic start from Bottas. Hamilton's got in and coming in the inside looks to be Charles Leclerc. What a great start by Leclerc. Leclerc side by Hamilton, squeezes him through into second place. Bottas leads, Leclerc is second, Hamilton third, Sebastian Vettel is fourth, and he's been challenged at the moment by Max Verstappen. So both the Ferraris have made a fantastic start, both jump places off the start to get second and fourth from third and fifth. Great start this is. Well, we're looking at the bottom of the pack here, and as we've heard from Chris Whiteman, the team principal of Ravenwest, he has said this year that Honda, after the mid-season break, well, hang on, let's listen to the radio.
Engine problem.
Yeah, we see it, Hector. It looks like that the turbo has failed on the start, so keep racing. We'll work on the issue.
Well, there was talk today of the Ravenwest having a new updated power package from Honda, but if the turbo's gone from the start, what a disastrous race start for Hector Gonzalez in that Ravenwest side. This is Kimi Raikkonen, number 7 in the Alfa Romeo, really, really good. Got Alex Albon behind him in the Red Bull, and as they come through to complete the first lap of this, Bottas leads from Leclerc from Hamilton, Vettel is 4th and Verstappen is 5th, Carlos Sainz remains 6th, Raikkonen is 7th with Albon behind him in 8th, Ricciardo, Norris, Ocon and Stroll lined in. So far, fantastic Grand Prix at the moment from Kimi Raikkonen, and the best the Alfa Romeo has performed this season. So delighted to a man, most experienced driver on the grid, racing as looking to get to the 2-decade mark. There have not been many two-decade drivers in Formula 1 that made it all the way through, so a testament to Kimi Raikkonen, who obviously has taken a break from the sport, has returned. And 2 stints with Ferrari, 1 stint with McLaren, stint with Lotus as it was known back then, now with the Alfa Romeo, and we are following him as he battles for 8th place. Behind him is Albon in 9th. An interesting start to the Austrian Grand Prix thus far, and it is a great moment to see a driver of the quality of Kimi Raikkonen get through. Of course, Finland do like this track. Valtteri Bottas, a winner in 2017, and Mika Häkkinen, a 2-time winner in 98 and 2000. So the Finns themselves do enjoy here. Interestingly, no Briton has ever won the Austrian Grand Prix. And at the moment, it looks like Valtteri Bottas could be heading into that 2-time category. He leads as well. He's got Charles Leclerc behind him. Hamilton is 3rd. Sebastian Vettel is 4th. Max Verstappen is 5th. And it seems to be the case. Bottas this year is just everything has just come and gone right for him. Now this is Max Verstappen, pulled off a brilliant manoeuvre to win and chase down Charles Leclerc last year. This year he's chasing down Sebastian Vettel, and it looks to me the Red Bull at the moment is the quicker car. So with DRS opening up, will this be a passing place for Verstappen? Well, the pit straight is long, but it's not too long, and they're going to have to bring out perhaps a little bit more oomph heading out of the corners. DRS zone number 2 is in favour. Does Verstappen fancy late braking? Vettel in, he's not able to, but he stays right on the gearbox, right behind him. And it just shows you the old adage with Formula 1. Catching somebody is one thing, passing them is another. DRS was opened up for a 3rd point. Verstappen is clearly the quicker car, but Vettel here is the better driver, because he's just able to do enough to stop Vettel going for a lunge or sending one into an apex or doing something to try and outbook them. Well, Lewis Hamilton at the moment, I'm looking at the timing system, starting to catch Charles Leclerc, so will this be a chance for Hamilton to challenge at the moment? Bottas has been the most consistent driver, and it has been consistency that will win a Formula 1 championship over brilliance. It's something Lewis Hamilton has got better at over the years, and that's why he's been so dominant. Here though, he's got to recapture perhaps some of his old McLaren days, and there is a move being made, and Verstappen's trying to go around the outside, and it might give him the follow through as they go down the hill. It has indeed DRS is opened, and that's enough for Verstappen to get past Sebastian Vettel and move ahead. That's really, really, really good driving there by Verstappen ahead of Vettel. So Red Bull has passed him. Can he go ahead and hunt down second and third place? That's Lewis Hamilton chasing Charles Leclerc. Interesting, both Ferraris really good starts, but struggling for race pace. This is Ravenwest Gonzalez here.
Okay, Hector, update on the turbo situation. It's suffered a major failure on the starts, and we're currently only running at 5% efficiency. It's not going to cause us to retire. Don't worry about the smoke, we're monitoring it. Just keep going with the current strategy. We'll update you when necessary.
Well, I'd like to know that strategy and what's going for the mind of the team principal, Chris Whiteman there, because by doing that, with that turbo smoke which is coming out, and we're watching Lance Stroll having to go heavy on the defensive against an AlphaTauri. The one thing that it does do is it may leave some oil popping through the turbo. And the turbo, as we know, harnesses gases, and we're watching at the moment both racing points as Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez go side by side. Of course, Racing Point, Lance Stroll won't be moving there, so Sergio Perez is going to drive for his life to stay in there. Of course, the Racing Point close ties with the McLaren, with the Mercedes Formula 1 team. This is Lewis Hamilton, and we're at the halfway mark of the season. We've had a nice little break, we've come back, and Lewis Hamilton here has to try to find a way to do a bit more, because at the moment he's quite simply not been able to do enough. And he sits right behind Charles Leclerc, and Bottas is eking out a lead every single time. So Hamilton will know if he can. He may not have the run in this lap, but lap 18, can he get through, or will it be a case of pit stop strategy being able to separate this? And Lewis Hamilton's trying to have a look around the outside. Seems to be the preferred line for overtaking, because it allows you to have the advantage down the hill and then into the next left-hander. But Lewis has had to brake really heavily, and he's lost at the moment his gap, but you can do that affording to chase your driver. If you do make a mistake, you do brake slightly too late, you use your line slightly, within a lap or two you can be right behind them again. It's the pressure is always on the car that is being chased, not the car doing the chasing. Well, you feel for Hector Gonzalez today. He's a brilliant racer, and the real opportunity for the Ravenwest today to excel. Bearing in mind it's had a very, very difficult start in its engine supplier, but the Honda engine was looking positive, but after the 10th place grid penalty in this, it just shows you the perils and drama required of running a Formula 1 team. Well, there is Esteban Ocon in 12th, Gonzalez is in 11th, there is Norris, Ricciardo and Albon ahead of him, and there is Carlos Sainz Jr. in 6th place, which in the old days was the final Formula 1 points. Of course, the Formula 1 point system changed in 2010, has remained that way ever since. I'm amazed here that at the moment, when you look at the smoke coming out, perhaps the fact that there is no oil being dropped, but will the stewards look to pull in Gonzalez as a result of that? That will be the question that will need to be asked, and we'll have to wait and see. At the moment here, though, we are watching Kimi Raikkonen try to keep off Alex Albon for 8th and 9th, and it's been a good battle between those two at the moment, the way in which they have driven thus far. It's been hard, it's been fast, it's been full. Kimi Raikkonen is certainly not one to mince his words, but now we're looking at the first pit stop of the Grand Prix thus far. And it's the Ravenwest here of Hector Gonzalez. You can tell by the smoke, perhaps an early pit stop and planning to go longer. Will they have a chance to work on the car and have a quick look at the turbo? They don't. They go for a very quick stop. Very quick. 2.92 seconds. Oh, fabulous stop that was, but let's see what it does. Now, if he can keep the pace going, which is going to be terribly difficult here the damage he's got to the turbo, will that be an opportunity? Hamilton here has got behind Charles Leclerc. Hamilton has been unable to pass Charles Leclerc. Well, Lewis Hamilton may have to hope that his pit crew are up to this, because if he can get ahead, and I'll keep him in the point system, that'll keep him in reach at the moment of the race leader. Hamilton comes into pit, so Hamilton here is deciding to come in, and Bottas is going to stay out. Lewis Hamilton goes on to the medium compound. Pit again. This is the battle taking place between Verstappen and Vettel, and that's a really good stop by the Red Bull side. Lewis Hamilton is through. Verstappen, and just slightly held up in the pit wall there was Vettel. So Bottas leads from Leclerc. Albon is up to third. Lando Norris in the McLaren is fourth. Esteban Ocon is fifth. Gasly is through in sixth. Hamilton, after coming out, will come through in 10th. So it shows you how close this field is together, and how no car at the moment is able to out-accelerate the other one and pull away. Perhaps as maybe as much as any driver here would like, but since when did anything you do in Formula 1 go to plan? Well, Lewis Hamilton has had a wretched first half of the season. Can he recover in the second half of the season? Always comes good, second half of a Grand Prix. Could this be his moment to shine and to show us what he can do? At the moment, this is the Williams we're watching, chasing the AlphaTauri, and behind them is the freshly pitted McLaren of Charles Leclerc. And that's George Russell, number 63. Chasing down number 20, which is Romain Grosjean, and they've both come into pits. George Russell, of course, a lot of people have got his eye on him and his talents, and interesting to see what he can do in the future. Will he get a chance to drive a top class team? Teams coming in the second half of the race and making their pits, and Bottas as still through with Leclerc. They haven't pitted. Hamilton and Verstappen is also there. Almost a collision between the Haas and the Williams, so Grosjean and Russell very nearly colliding. Now this is Mick Schumacher, number 72. His dad will be terribly proud to see him racing in Formula 1, and it's good to see what he's doing, making that jump up from F2. Rainier's Parels is a Formula 1 World Championship that raced his father in Kimi Raikkonen. Well, that I'm sure will be a spectacular moment to be thinking about. It's behind you in the mirrors is somebody your father raced and for the World Championship. Kimi Raikkonen coming close in 2003 and in 2005, along with the likes of Juan Pablo Montoya, but that time unable to cope with the sheer dominance of Michael Schumacher. You can tell which Ravenwest is which, because Gonzalez is the one which is smoking, and Ricciardo's trying to have a little move, as at the moment there looks to be an opportunity potentially for Gonzalez to make a move on Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, Kimi Raikkonen is still 8th, though Gonzalez at the moment in the Ravenwest is in the points. He's got 2 cars ahead of him, which, if there was no turbo damage, and there might be damage if they can hang on and get through, and it's another wonderful passing maneuver again from Gonzalez. Just how does he do this? Goodness heavens, what a maneuver that was, braking so late. Now right behind the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen. Can he do the business? Raikkonen ahead of him. Up to 9th at the moment is the Ravenwest. 8th place is Kimi Raikkonen, and this is a real battle and a half. Well, after Ricciardo's losing that, suddenly Lando Norris has screamed up right behind him also. The Austrian Grand Prix, famous for the ball that it had. It was known as the A1 ring before, when it was sponsored by Mercedes many years ago. Grand Prix which has been in and out of the calendar, won by former world champions as Alan Jones, Mika Häkkinen, Michael Schumacher and Nico Rosberg, and Alan Prost most famously. Max Verstappen and Valtteri Bottas are the only current drivers racing that have won this race before, and Bottas is looking set to become a two-time winner, as we see the Ravenwest pass of Gonzalez getting quite comfortably in the end past Kimi Raikkonen. This allowed Daniel Ricciardo here to make a move, and Daniel Ricciardo has got past the Alfa Romeo. Well, we'll see if he does. He already has now, and he's come through into 9th place, so good to see Ricciardo and a recovery there from the Renault as they make their move. And we're still seeing that Smoky Ravenwest. I'm sure they'll nickname this particular chassis Smoky when this is all been and done. But Smoky Gonzalez at the moment is driving fantastically into 8th. And the World Championship points will be greatly appreciated for the Ravenwest side. Well, we're 4 laps from the end. Bottas leads from Leclerc and Verstappen, and Hamilton is back down to 4th. So Hamilton again, just not able to find the pace that other drivers have done before. We're now looking at Daniel Ricciardo, who's got DRS and has got past Gonzalez. So into 8th, the Renault, has he? Outside. And very, very deep there went the Ravenwest. And Gonzalez has been able to get past again. DRS point will open up again. Will he fancy another chance to outbrake him on the inside line? Well, can anybody outbrake the Ravenwest this season? Its brakes on that are absolutely fantastic. The middle pedal at the moment is stopping the car like anything, and this is a fiercely contested battle at the moment with Ricciardo. And Gonzalez leads the Australian, and the Australian is right behind him. And by all right to him, should be past him. We'll just listen to the radio.
Hector, we need you to take it easier on the car. The engine will fail if you continue to push like this.
I don't want. Already I have big problems now.
Yes, but you'll have an even bigger problem when your engine blows up. You need to lift and coast more and keep the revs low. I know you're fighting for position and it's difficult, but you've got to do this, otherwise we will not finish.
Well, I wonder if any of that message was unbroadcastable. What we've seen there is, sadly here, you can see the damage that this turbo means that Gonzalez is looking like he's having to yield places. He's still giving it everything he has, and that car has continued to smoke all race. And at the moment it's holding up Ricciardo and Raikkonen, who's still in a point at the moment for Alfa Romeo, and Lando Norris sitting behind them. But this is where the drama is, and this is where we are staying with this Formula 1 race at the moment. And we're looking to see at the moment, can Gonzalez hang on? He may have to drive within himself a bit more, may have to accelerate a little easier, brake a little earlier, let the car coast a little bit more, and try to do that defensively is highly difficult. So this is going to show us the sheer skill which we know Hector Gonzalez has, and he's been highly impressive at the moment. Reminder, with 2 laps to go. Look, Bottas leads from Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen has made it into 3rd, as you see the orange wall of Max Verstappen fans as we're just driving away. Really is a bit of a hometown hero, local boy to the country. And driving like a hero is Gonzalez, who's doing everything he can at the moment to hold off Daniel Ricciardo. This is some drive at the moment from the Spaniard on a car which is tired, it's worn out, it's broken, it's not working correctly, it's damaged, it's being absolutely nursed home. But I don't think nursing it is in Gonzalez's vocabulary. He will drive that until it physically falls apart. Oh, Verstappen! The Honda engine's gone! Oh, what a shame for Max Verstappen. Hugely popular here, but he bows out of the Austrian Grand Prix. His engine has blown on him. Oh, would you believe that? Well, it's going to help Lewis Hamilton, but what a shame, what a shame. Bottas leads, Leclerc is second after Verstappen's engine's around. Hamilton has gone to 3rd from Gonzalez at the moment. This is now 7th place he's defending from Daniel Ricciardo. Lando Norris has now inherited a points place. So these are the final 3 drivers in the points. Esteban Ocon, you can see the distance in this second Renault. Looking at his timings now. Does Kimi Raikkonen fancy a chance to pass Daniel Ricciardo in the Alfa Romeo? It'd be a fantastic drive. If he can put it off, he can do. What a manoeuvre by Raikkonen. What a drive he has had today. He's been magnificent. Well, will Kimi Raikkonen be the man to get past Hector Gonzalez? Ricciardo has tried, he's failed. It's now time for Kimi Raikkonen, the 2007 Formula 1 World Champion, man that holds the record for the most Grand Prix participated in. Smoke pouring out the back of that Ravenwest. I remember a race many years ago in Australia, Jacques Villeneuve in a Williams Renault leading. There was an oil problem and Damon Hill followed him for ages. When Damon Hill eventually passed, looked like a different car with all the oil damage that he had. Now Raikkonen, does he have what it takes to get past Gonzalez? No, because Gonzalez hangs on again. Last lap of the Grand Prix, Bottas leads from Leclerc and from Hamilton. This is the battle for 7th place that we're going to stay with and follow. And now coming through the inside again is an opportunity for Raikkonen, who's unable to get past. And Raikkonen, well, he's losing time then. And amazing under all, it just shows you at the moment how defensively Gonzalez is driving, because Esteban Ocon now is in this battle for the points and he could potentially look to take it. Well, here is a man who's got pole, who's driven an exceptional race, and who can stop Valtteri? Bottas wins again, and he is definitely the man to catch this season. Charles Leclerc is second again in Austria, same as last year. There will be no Great Britain winning the Austrian Grand Prix again. Hamilton is third, Vettel is fourth, Carlos Sainz has got through in fifth, Albon is sixth. And after a very, very brilliant bit of defensive driving to take 7th place is Hector Gonzalez in the Ravenwest. Kimi Raikkonen takes 8th. Daniel Ricciardo is 9th.
Alright, that's P7, P7. Well done, mate. That's one hell of a drive.
Yes. Yes.
Good job, man. P1, baby. P1.
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. Enjoyed it.
Well, you have to credit Valtteri Bottas, who has put it all together this season. No longer in the shadow. And the first half of the season goes to where the second half for Bottas, who's a winner again for Mercedes. Mercedes delighted. Perhaps the only person that might be not is Lewis Hamilton. Bottas, class win by him. Drove an immaculate race, and his team can be very proud of the way in which their driver drove their car. And I'm sure all their hard work is vindicated. Well, takes the podium, fully deserved. That trophy is his to keep. And is he the man challenging and has his name with the World Championship on? The champagne is flowing. His nearest rival failed to finish. His second nearest rival was a few points behind him, so Bottas would extend his lead. Well, it was a very interesting Austrian Grand Prix in the end. Valtteri Bottas even claiming the fastest lap with just a hundredths of a second ahead of that of Charles Leclerc. Started first, led for every lap bar the pit stops. 26 points and a perfect weekend for him. Charles Leclerc got the jump and from the start came through into second. Lewis Hamilton, we disappointed that he finished third, was hoping to challenge for the championship today. Any retirement, of course, was Max Verstappen, but a great win, it has to be said, for Hector Gonzalez to do as well as he did. Mick Schumacher finished 20th, just ahead of Nicholas Latifi, and George Williams in the end came through. Right, here are the driver standings for the World Championship thus far. It's a 36 point for Valtteri Bottas. It's a race win plus ahead, starting to look very imposing on the competition. Hamilton has moved up to second. Charles Leclerc has jumped forward also along with Sebastian Vettel. But Max Verstappen, after that failure, he drops down the pack and he's now 48 points short of the world champion-elect at the moment. Valtteri Bottas leading the way. Hector Gonzalez is in 7th place in the Ravenwest. A great little attempt by him. From a Mercedes standpoint, well, Mercedes at the moment lead by 2 race wins. It's 50 points ahead of Ferrari, who've gone ahead of Raceball after that retirement by Verstappen. McLaren maintain 4th ahead of Ravenwest Motorsports, who are 5th, but they are ahead of Renault and Racing Point and Alfa Romeo in the battle for the mid-tables. AlphaTauri and Haas with a 7 and 2 points to their name. Williams are still the only side in the championship thus far not to register a point. Well, another brilliant Grand Prix you've witnessed with us here on the CW Virtual Commentator channel. This is the Rise of Ravenwest here, and if you want to see more, stay tuned, because coming up next, well, British Grand Prix. From all of us, bye-bye.